Good evening, everybody, or morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world.
It's both here. I finally got sunlight at 8 o'clock, so the earth is shifting. Now it's still 40 degrees, but
we're supposed to get a little snow tonight and be 70 degrees by next weekend. So
that means it's coming here too.
One tulip's blooming and a bunch of daffodils. I had Lucy out for about a 2-second walk, was going to do a video, and she got scared of a noise a neighbor made, so she went running back in.
I can't. I did say it wasn't going to stop until May, because that's kind of what it was last year. It didn't stop fully snowing until about May. Oh, well.
Happy Easter, everybody. How is everybody? Lucy is digging on these new catnip treats. She's like, if I can't go to my garden and get fresh catnip, I'll have to do the treats.
That was me downstairs with my version of catnip called Prieurre Rocher. And yeah, I'm like, if you don't get out of that was me. I'm like, if you don't get out of this candy, right?
I went to Target to get all the stuff on sale. Target's closed today. So I had to go to Stater Brothers, which I hate that store because it'll be like 8,000 people in that store with one cash register open and no self-checkout lines, but I had to go get some stuff, and I was like, I'm going to eat my feelings today. Damn it, I don't care. So Rocher. I don't care.
Like I tried to be, nice and conscientious.
A little healthy in between chocolates.
Yeah, there's no chocolate in here. Ain't no hazelnut.
So you eat a candy and then eat an orange and then go back to candy.
Mm-hmm. And this has probably got more sugar in it, I would think. Yeah, I think so. Chocolate's got milk in it. Milk is healthy for you. It's good.
They were out of the caramel eggs at the store the other day. It had already sold out, so Lucy didn't get her Easter treat.
See, what your orange is missing, though, Johnny, is that high fructose corn syrup. That's so good.
That's what it is. They do have a new Snickers, and I've been on the hunt for it. I can't find it. It's cinnamon bun, I think, is what it's called. I believe that's what it's called. They got a new M&M. It's Cookie Crunch, which, been there, done that. But I'm looking for that Snickers, though. It's going to be the worst thing or the best thing.
I'd like to thank the readers that joined me on my birthday last Wednesday again. Adrian, Tony, Lori, Johnny, and Becca. Did I leave anybody out? No, that was it. 6 of us. And to everybody that super chatted to me, if I missed you, that I missed a few. I went back and was watching the video. It's like, oh, I missed a few. So thank you for the super chats. For new subscribers, you have to be subscribed for a little bit before you can chat in the chat. That's our way of deterring some of the trolls, and it seems to be working. So any new subscribers that can't type, sorry, try next week. So what you going on, Johnny?
Friday will be on Shining Hawk Healing, and then that's all I got. That's all I have planned. The captain of spontaneity. Who knows? I did have 1 or 2 questions that I might do during the non-political, so I might do them during the week, but probably not.
If you guys are missing the Friday nights between them, you're missing out on some laughs. They started out laughing, and I don't think you stopped the whole time you were reading some Friday nights. try to go
All
catch.
of the people in my life are bad influences. So,
They
that's
they were on Red Lentil Healings channel Friday night. If you want to go catch that video, doing non-political questions.
I am easily corrupted. So there you go.
And for new subscribers, because we put on the community post to give us questions for Sunday night. We do not do personal readings on Sunday nights. They are all political. Thank you, Joanne.
Unless you're corrupted and running for office, you probably don't want us to read on you anyway.
Unless you're testifying to the January 6th committee, we're not reading on you. And if you're
Be a
testifying,
good person.
tell us what you're talking about. Should we start there? Should we just go about as low as we can go? Might need Becca to put on her devil ears. Should we look at Stephen Miller? What did he have to say to the committee?
Good God.
8 hours. And as Glenn Kushner said, well, here's all the things they can charge him with. But in addition to that, he can't talk for 8 hours without lying. So they'll get him for lying under oath to Congress. Getting all into his speech writing skills. They said that it went chippy at one point. I meant to Google, what the hell does chippy mean? Like chippy, like Kurt, or I don't know.
As in he was cheerful or
Chippy. Y'all tell me in chat, what does chippy mean? He had a chippy testimony, or it got chippy, like chipping away.
Like chippy, like he was being a smart ass or something, and you know what I mean? And I think that's what it means. At least that's how it sounds to me. I don't know.
Ooh, we got to get the big belly off the table.
I mean, knowing him, it was probably, 4 hours of testimony of how to make poisons or something. The Ace of Pentacles and the Four of Wands, there's something he may have alluded to as far as evidence in the White House. He wasn't trying to be so forthcoming. He was trying to dance around. The only real problem I have, I don't know all of the people's backgrounds on the panel, but it's different if a Letitia James or some sort of prosecutor, litigator type thing questions you than just a person who is a lawyer but has been a politician for 30 years are not really, their questioning muscles get a little lax. And so it's a little different when somebody like a Letitia or somebody, that does lawyering and questioning all the time. So I don't really feel perjury trap for him, but there is some worry about information shared with the Temperance and the Nine of Swords. I think him and the boy 1 and boy 2 and girl 1 and girl 2, all them people that went in tried to dance around without pleading the fifth. And he feels very confident in his answers, but he should be worried about something. Here's something about the family. I don't know if they asked him about the Trumps specifically, but he said something about a family of people, a group of people, though. But there's not a whole lot of information.
I get he did change it. Like they did catch him in a perjury trap. That he changed something. That he didn't mean to give up, and that could cost him legally. But it's like the devil in the tower. He's burdened in between. I get there asking him all about like how you were counting votes or the electors, how you were watching them, everything about the votes. He did give up something truthful, though. There was something that was illuminating. I don't know what that is. I think maybe something about how long they'd been planning this, how long they'd been holding this close to their chest and planning this. So he did say something that slipped up and let him know how long this had been going on.
They're saying in the chat what chippy means. J-Lo and I missed the other person. They wrote out the definitions of what it says.
Oh, touchy, I just saw. Defensive, touchy, also lady of the night. Maybe they got into the Cawthorn parties.
Yeah. I guess that
Stephen Miller, were you invited to any parties?
I get that he told him about some of the projects in regards to the transition and the many branches that were working together to deliver what they were desiring. That's what I get.
Can you imagine him at any of the parties?
Yeah. Johnny, you're muted.
Good, because I didn't say nothing clean. So
You must repeat it then.
Somebody type Chippy is the lady of the night, and I'm like, yeah, he's probably not a prostitute because who would pay for that? So
Does his prices go up after he sprays on his hair?
extra 38 cents. It goes a long way sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I did put myself in timeout because I was wrong. I can't.
Well, I wonder if you want to hire him, if you text him, if it goes to his parents' cell phone plan, they see all the texts.
Oh my god!
I have to ask, what do his parents think of him? I gotta go there. I gotta get my petty boots on there.
Because I always tell people, yeah, he can't give it away. I'm pretty sure that people raise children, and you try to raise them, with your set of morals and codes and ethics and things, but they're still their own person. So you can try your best, and they can turn out the worst, just like him.
You think? The card's already making me laugh.
I get that his parents think he's so wonderful that they really think he's got a chance at some position like ambassador or something. I get Moon, Anchor, and Lilies. I mean, they got to be just like him if they have him on his phone plan. Also, a person that is very creative and very persistent in their lily white beliefs. But I don't get anything that says that they see him badly.
Me either, and I'm quite surprised.
I think who was it? Was it the uncle that disowned him? So not the parents, the uncle, right?
Yeah, he's got an uncle that
he was very vocal on the news.
The rest of his family won't have anything to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because it starts with the world. There's big picture. They see potential. They see the bigger picture. High Priestess to his swords. They do feel as though his spirituality or his inside might be disconnected because he is supposed to be Jewish, is he not? And he's like once removed from Hitler type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's the Knight of Pentacles hangman. It's like works hard, but his mind's not always in the right place.
Yeah, I got the hangman on the bottom. Like he sees things differently, I get, than his parents do. But they think it has a lot to do with who he works with. That he doesn't always choose the right people to protect himself to work with, and that there's a sense of heartbreak over that. Because I see he's very passionate and um, it's funny, robbing Peter to pay Paul. They think he's um, been given the short shift, so to speak. Um, he's trying to hang on to his vision of America, I get, and um, trying to get his message out there, and they have hopes for him that he'll get another job, something that pays even better. Um, he's secure with them, but there is a bullying and an imbalance. So a little bit of a dichotomy there.
I can't. Like, don't turn your back on your kid and all that. Okay, but that one, because he makes you look bad.
That's
Because,
another example of an ejaculation that doesn't deserve a name.
I mean,
So we had Congressman Chip Roy from Texas and Senator Lee from Utah that had over 100 texts to Mark Meadows, where first they were like giving advice on turning around the election, and then they soured on turning it over before January 6th. So as close to January 6th as January 1st, they were like, yeah, this isn't going to work. We shouldn't do this, blah, 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 blah. So why did they sour? Because like they said, legally we can't do this. Did they suddenly get a moral compass, or did they suddenly realize we could get caught up in this?
who texted him again?
It was Congressman Chip Roy and Senator Lee were texting Mark Meadows directly, over 100 texts.
They were afeared. At the Three of Cups, there's your community there, or the three people that were talking. High Priestess and Temperance, something that would be working together to keep secrets. However, Five of Pentacles, Five of Swords, you figure it would come out. Somebody would be on the outs, or one person, domino effect. So this person goes down, then that one, then that one, then that one, then that one type of thing. And then you get the defeat cards and humiliation, that type of thing.
They were afeared. I get that.
I get the bear, the rider, the birds, the cross, and the tower. They did not have something powerful to deliver to the court, and whatever they would go to negotiate in court or in law would be not good. And also with birds sitting right in the middle, their communications, whether on phone or anywhere else, what was verbalized about power in the institutions, and also institutions that have to do with phones, because tower and birds, and delivering what they wanted would prove extremely difficult, and it would prove guilt with rider and cross. So they knew that they stepped in it. So they took it right up to the line where they thought they're not legally liable. And then, but it shows here that they're going to have issues with the law. So,
Yeah, and I think too, like they felt like it was getting out of control how many people were involved. Like they wanted it to be held close to the chest in the planning stages, and things were getting too erratic around Trump. So I get they're they took an action because they felt burdened and nervous and sent messages to try to isolate themselves from the network. Um, so yeah, they're trying to get out from the cold from investigators that are going to come on.
Because didn't Mike Lee wasn't he telling Meadows to work with Sidney Powell, and then when she went crazy, he was telling him to work with the other guy that was just as nuts.
Yeah, when they were trying to get evidence and she kept losing lawsuit after lawsuit, they realized there is no evidence.
It would be difficult to prove in a court of law because there was no evidence.
Yeah. So what does this mean for Congressman Roy and Senator Lee? Will they have any legal repercussions?
Yes, but not, the most damaging in the world. I'm not going to Alcatraz or anything. I get the lover's card and the Ten of Wands. This is more of a burden of relationships. So it's not, the most damaging thing in the world. It's this person you're talking to. What do you know and when did you stop knowing it type thing. Wheel of Fortune, the Four of Cups. There will be some possible testifying or something of that nature. It's like they get called into the limelight because of somebody else. So it's not necessarily something they did that they're going to be hammered to the wall, because you get the Page of Wands. So there's your messaging and your talking. And then the Two of Pentacles kind of thrown out of balance. Life gets a little hectic. Queen of Swords, your legal aspect, but, nothing to charge them with. I don't see like indictments or anything like that, but just a nuisance more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see law or issues with the law. It just says that I got Rider, Key, Ship, Clover, and Stars. The feedback for this is that it provides more answers on what they were doing for the transition to when and how much more widespread it is. How widespread and metastasized it was, all to get access to the win. So
yeah, all the network, I get it's a tarnish more to their image that they're going to regret, because people will get emotional about this, all for that win. People looking at them differently. So I get for them, like they're done in the Republican Party. When votes come in, I get they'll be shifting more to Democrats, and they'll be going away. Sponsors ditching them. They'll be going away, crashing and burning, and forced into retirement, basically. So when their time comes for re-election, bye-bye. So
be a lobbyist.
What does this mean for Mark Meadows, who now is right in the center of everything, the fake electors and the rally and the trying to get the voting machines and everything. So what does this mean for Mark Meadows? He is fully implicated in multiple texts. Devil on the bottom.
Devil in my hand right here. 3 of Swords, 7 of Wands. So his defense is crumbled. It's destroyed pretty much with the 3 of Swords because everybody around him has sort of outed him, if you will. There is the community here, and then there's the devil. So there's ties to something illegal, ties to something damaging as well with him in the community. So they're not going down by themselves. They're going to take him too. Now, this is not something that's overnight. So I'm not saying he's this tomorrow, Mark Meadows indicted and arrested and blah, blah, blah. But the 3 of Pentacles and the 5 of Pentacles, he will be singled out eventually. So I think what happens is you get person A and then person B, and 6 years later, you get Mark Meadows. And so there is some exposure, a lot of it. And that is kind of what, like pulling at the string of something. It unravels very slowly. And instead of just cutting it off, you can't because you're trying to get at something. So again, slow exposure. So the more time that goes by, the more things you will see about him, the less things he can hide from. So solid case. So I think he is in some deep crap.
I agree. What are you getting, Becca?
I got Clover, Garden, Ring, Storks, and Clouds. Ultimately, big trouble because he's linked to the party, to the congregation of people, the society of people, the rally, and the commitment and the promise that they made to change something, to improve something. So the insurrection for the win, but ultimately it's big trouble. Big trouble. That whole partnership, people that he was linked to, people in the network, it's like he's central to the link, if that makes sense. And it just brings this at the end, just chaos, absolute chaos and problems.
Yeah, I get he had been going through this a long time, and like his secret strength of how he was involved in this is all everybody's getting a different perspective on it. Like he was one of the ringleaders. So, in on the planning and things like getting security to lay low, the messaging and everything. Everybody he was linked to, he is going to be isolated from them somehow. So he is going to face a stricter penalty is what I'm getting. Because he will be isolated, trying to change votes. He's in on that. Bullying people, the rioters, all of that. Trying to, the illumination on trying to steal the election. It's all coming out. So, yeah, he's facing big political.
Can I ask the question? What was he going to get out of this? Like, why put yourself in this position to try to overthrow an election, so forth and so forth, like this? Because if you get caught, this is a very big deal. So what is he getting out of this to put himself in that kind of position?
And it's not like he's an idiot, he was if any, I'm sure, I mean, I don't mean to hand out props, but I'm pretty sure he read the Constitution, unlike Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know what I mean? Because he served in Congress long enough. He knows the procedures. He knows all that stuff, what's legal, what's not, that this has never been done before, which makes it even more baffling. Like Johnny said, what made you think you could do this? What were you looking to get out of it? And what the hell made you think you wouldn't get caught?
Yeah.
Even his voter fraud, like, why would you commit voter fraud for one vote? Like, you're going to swing an election with one vote?
Yeah.
Why would you go to that kind of legal jeopardy for one freaking vote? Or two, maybe, if you count your wives. For
a man that is crashing weddings in Mar-a-Lago and has been kicked off Twitter. Like, so what was the question? What was he looking to get out of it?
Like, what was he getting out of this? Like, what was promised to him or something? But I mean, Medusa, I get it. Everybody turned to stone, but good God in heaven.
Oh my God, I keep seeing that Medusa commercial on TV, and I think of you every time I see it, Johnny. What was he hoping to? Mark Meadows hoping to get out of this? Get
I mean, at least
right
you
in
were
the middle.
AIDS. What is that? If I ever make a tarot deck, I have to make a Medusa card. I just do.
Power and money. Power and money.
That's what I get too. I get bouquet, garden, bear, heart, and he was doing to offer it to the party for power and control, but financing as well because bear sits straight in the middle.
And I get like money from Russia too. So wonder if bear might also be like maybe a little Russian money.
I ship wasn't there, so I would be hesitant to go. Yeah, take it there.
What you getting, Johnny?
Promises. There's the Page of Cups, Six of Swords, Nine of Cups, anything and everything that he could have wanted or possibly wanted. He was sold a bill of goods type thing, like I can get you this, I can get you that, you can be the this, you can be the that type of thing. It was all a lie, of course. Good old devil. Interesting, Four of Cups. Four of Cups is usually the person not wanting the cup, and this is like a person reaching for it and they can't quite get it. It's behind a veil type of thing. And the Seven of Cups. Choices. He had options. He could do things. He could go places. He could, that type of thing. Was all a lie. So there you go.
I get that too. Choices for personal wealth, connections to the Justice Department. I get to manipulate to buy him out, so to speak. Like he thought he could get away with it. Wanting to retire from work with strength, power. I feel like. I feel like, Russian money too.
Kind of like Nunes retired from a guaranteed seat because he represents the Central Valley District over there by Naval Air Station Lemoore, where I used to be stationed at, to go work for Trump for a company that to launch social media apps that failed within. They couldn't even launch it.
I have to ask
like 3 times.
I have to ask this. Has Devin Nunes received one paycheck yet? I'm going to be really petty. Has Devin Nunes received any paycheck for his new job? The Truth Social.
Strength on the Moon flew out, so I don't know. Let's see. Oh, first card.
There, give me my money.
I'm here to collect, bitch. I'm here to collect.
I wonder if he's received like a stock option or some sort of promise of something, like something that could build into something else. I get no pentacles. I get the devil and the Six of Cups. It's almost like they gave him something that would mature over time. Like I gave you some stock. Like, look at it differently. Page of Wands and the Hangman. Just look at it differently. There's possible something coming because I get the Star and the Four of Wands, but I don't get any Pentacles though.
I get his inheritance is corrupted. He's out in the cold from it. They might have given him options, some kind of options, communicated something to where, okay, you have to harvest this many subscribers or whatever, and it's just chaotic. I keep getting like, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. It's going to end. The structure of it is going to end, and his personal wealth will be isolated. So he's got nothing.
I have a follow-up question after you go back. And thank you, Letitia.
I have book, writer, and crossroads. I would say he got half, but he's not going to get the other half until he delivers the finalized product.
So here's my question then. Well, I'll rephrase it because I can't say how long. Would he turn on Donald Trump? Because Donald Trump is famous for not paying people. So at some point, would he do a Giuliani and be like, hey, I know this and I know, pay me?
Sue him to get money?
Yeah. Would he turn on Donald Trump? And that's, what, Peggy, because the devil is dealing with the fool, and that's like the worst combination.
It's like you're going to go into business with a man that has bankrupted everything he's touched. Yeah, really smart, Devin.
And the bad thing is, from afar, you can't tell which one is which. They start to look the same. Would he turn on Trump?
What's the expression? The devil and his money are soon separated, or something.
A fool and his money soon parted, or something like that.
Maybe it should be a devil and his money. Thank you, Karen, for repeating the questions for us.
I mean, because that is one of them questions, though. Is at one point, at one point, do you stop feeling bad for people who get taken advantage of by this man? Like, you have example after example, again after example after example of him abusing, lying, stealing, tricking, whatever word you want to use, and you just jump into it like he's not going to do it to you.
Discarding.
Yeah.
Discarding. Like throwing them out like trash.
I don't get it. Yes, there will be a change, a huge change, dramatic change. It is over time. The Two of Swords, once you have little choice, I won't say no choice, it's always a choice, but once you have little to no choice, that's kind of when things start to blow open. You start to see schemes for what they are. I think he will also bring Don Jr. in on this, and Don Jr. may take your place or may have a more important role or may get paid and you didn't. Something like that. Some sort of jealousy with the child there too, because your perspective changes when the child is introduced and jealousy sets in, and then you start to walk away and abandon something before it's complete. And then you want some money, and you want whatever money that's supposed to be paid out to you, whatever was promised to you, then you want it. But good for you.
I got the Mountain, the Anchor, and the Rider. I get no, he wouldn't turn on him. He would just kind of get abandoned and go on his merry little way.
I think he'll get all emotional about the money, that he was promised, that was planned. He sees everything getting erratic. He will walk away, with unfinished work. So, but the whole family is going to get caught up in the court system and victory on that with the indictments. So, the whole freaking circle around him. So he's betrayed. He's just going to wait forever for his money. He's stuck. He can't get anything. All the money's gone. It's all in rupees now, or whatever.
Yeah, saying your rubles are worth less than a penny now, so take the wheelbarrow.
I mean, but hey, if you're gonna eat crap, don't be surprised when it tastes like shit. That's all I'm saying.
And I gotta say, the Central Valley's full of nothing but cow crap. So yeah,
Trump shoveled it and you opened wide. So it's up to you now.
So Sean Hannity had Trump on doing an interview, and he was feeding him questions, which he told him about in advance, trying to get him to say that Putin is evil, and he never would. All he would talk about was how smart he was and blah, 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 and, what all he's doing. Why will Trump not say Putin is evil? Because he was spoon-fed questions to try to...
I like the dynamic. Trump is bigger and taller than Vladimir Putin. And he was like all hunched over in his presence. It was just it was something else to see. You humbled by a tyrant.
I get because it would risk his loyalty. Dog, Clover, man. Loyalty, risk, man. So he doesn't, I get that he doesn't want to risk the loyalty to him. For what? I don't know. You're worthless.
Because when I get the king and queen of same suit, there's some sort of pair or couple. So,
don't tell me that he was in on the PP tape. That it was
Putin was filming.
or Putin was the one on the bed.
There's some sort of, like you say, the loyalty there. There's some sort of teamwork there. And then, of course, there is also a dependency in personal funds with the Nine of Pentacles, a whole lot of it. Not just money, but there's, I don't know if Putin or some of the oligarchs or something got some stake in his properties, possibly even. But it's almost like a surprise ejection or something of that nature. Like, I can take you out of this at any time, not kill or anything like that, but I can take you out of the loop or out of the financial.
But isn't it worth nothing now, though? Since the rubles are worth, I mean, I don't care if you got bazillions of rubles, those are worth less than half a penny. So
I get that, he thinks Putin's victorious, the celebrity like him and stuff, and he's laying low because they work together on his personal wealth. And even though it's kind of crashed right now, he thinks that his Russian money will return. And I get that there's some in Melania's name, like something set up, and he's just biding time because he thinks the money will come back even if it's crashed right now because of sanctions. Like you file bankruptcy and all your money comes back.
According to Trump, it was a genius idea for $2 sanctions. His words, $2 sanctions.
That's probably about all he's got now is $2.
Got $2 to his name.
So Trump's rally sizes are shrinking dramatically. He had one in Georgia that was much smaller, and he had another one in South Carolina that was really small. And the only people he's backing are abusive men, like men that are known for grabbing women or molesting women, or like Herschel Walker, who held a gun on his wife, stuff like that. So will we continue to see his rally sizes shrinking? And the fact that he sits there and rags on Putin in his rallies. Everything shrinks around Donald Trump.
Except his stomach.
His diaper.
Yeah, he endorsed Dr. Oz too. Even some Republicans hate him for that one. Lord Jesus, these cards. Okay. Okay. I have to concentrate with these because I don't know what they are right offhand because you have to really look, but this said it all. I asked why. I said if it does, why? If it doesn't, why not? And there's your rally, 6 of Wands, person at the center of attention, and then this card pops. It's like this, the hermit. Yes, it's gonna shrink. There's some sort of hiding. This is literally the troll under the bridge type thing. So it's like hiding, the seclusion, the judgment, and the 2 of Wands. Believe it or not, the MAGA universe is actually ready for something new, or they're ready to move on completely. Like it's you're not the president, and they know it, even though they said it was stolen from you. Whatever, they know you're not the president. What you say does not have the same weight. Now what we're doing is basically, we're at Sweet Valley High. I know you're standing up there rah rah, but you've been graduated for 8 years, so like nothing you say means anything. And so the Chariot and the 2 of Pentacles is going to be hard to maintain balance because you can't get it back on the same page. They don't know you anymore. The words you say with the 8 of Wands, 5 of Pentacles, they're falling out of line. They can't really get behind what you say. It doesn't have the same impact. They're being discouraged because, the old man and the black ladies in the White House and JFK didn't come to save you. So there you go.
What'd you get, Becca?
I asked if his rallies would continue to get smaller. I got book, dog, and lilies. I would say yes, because what remains are the ones that we know are the racist. The pure racist. And then I asked why. I got storks, tower, and tree. Well, because some of them are in jail and the other ones are hospitalized because of the insurrection or the freaking COVID. So that's what I got.
Yeah, I get they are shrinking, like, it's getting harder and harder. I'd start out with a yes card because they're people are getting a little bit clearer thinking and seeing things differently, starting to see through some of the lies. And if their hopes for the White House for a Republican are not him, it's somebody else. Like they're looking to somebody else that's more grounded. So yeah, they're kind of leaving in droves. The other thing that's affecting him is his support of a foreign leader, and his bullying of Biden while we're in this situation with the foreign leader. So I get like a bunch of them going. And then when he goes to these rallies, and tries to act like he's the star and everything, he's just regurgitating the same things over and over and over again. It's like they're tired of hearing him.
And like I was saying, you just shrunk your own base, dumbass, because if you didn't kill them, they're in jail.
And you said you'd pay their legal fees and you didn't.
Nope.
And you shrunk the base of every other Republican out there from the state they came from.
And how many of these fools are now thanking the judge, trying to say, I was following the president's orders. He is my commander in chief. First of all, you're not active duty military. You don't have to do what he tells you, period. Second of all, are you finally getting it through your freaking brainwashed head that man conned you and you're the one paying the price while he's over there in Mar-a-Lago? And how many people are you telling who if you're lucky, you get visitors while you're in prison or in jail waiting, for your sentencing? How many have you said, man, I screwed up, that guy conned me good?
Judge Berman Jackson told one of the defendants, She was like, "You're a grown man. You don't have to do what somebody else tells you."
And even then, would they have done the same thing if Biden or Obama was to say, go storm the Capitol because I lost? They wouldn't. Oh, that's not my president.
Yeah.
So you got to pick and choose regardless of.
Biden told you to get vaccinated, and
he said,
you didn't do that.
You said this, and I'm going to go eat bleach and ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine and my own piss and eat dirt. And
But Trump tells you to go commit a felony or misdemeanor for some, and yeah, let me go do that instead.
yeah, well, let's do that. That'll fix all the problems.
For
Let me
entertainment
lose my job and my
only-
relationships. I can't.
For entertainment purposes only, YouTube, we actually recommend getting a vaccine.
Yes.
So there was billions in fraud from Trump's administration over COVID aid deals. I think the last estimate I saw was over 43 billion or something.
Are you kidding me?
I saw some huge estimate. It was
The last one I saw said 2 billion.
I think it's more than that.
Oh my God.
He was paying off, special contractors right and left that hadn't been vetted. One of them had a warehouse full of used water bottles and shovels. Like, what is that going to do to help fight COVID? Used water bottles. Maybe spread it, but not to fight
And
it.
the genius behind all that was Jared Kushner and his college buddies. After Jared Kushner, the genius, said, you know what? This pandemic is only going to affect blue states. Let's forget about it. It doesn't exist. It'll help us in the elections.
Kushner and Pence. Remember, Pence was over COVID relief too. So, will we see a lot of
Arrests,
fraud
indictments?
cases and arrests over the COVID aid deals, investigations and indictments?
Ace of Cups.
That's
I'm gonna stop right there.
it.
It might take a
My
while.
yes way out too.
It might take a while. I mean, just from PPE, you got Sun too. Just from PPE, they've only arrested so far only 500 people. The people that scammed PPE. And looking at you, John Olstein, whatever your name is.
Mhm. Yes. Nine of Swords, the world. The world is yes. Ace of Cups flew out. That was already yes. Six of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. Money paid out to people for their employees or relationships or things like that. Also, sweetheart deals from the government personally. Thank you, Coltos. The Queen of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. I don't know if there is a woman leading the charge in this, but there's that. So yes, there will be. But there's a lot though. Like this gives me the scale of like the riots. It's like there's so many people that you have to look into because so many people saying, "Oh, free money from the government, snatch." And
It was a smash and grab operation.
yeah,
Yeah, I get Trump's administration is already burdened by investigators that are looking into the deals that they made. So, yes, victory on that. There will be indictments, investigations charging in. There will be indictments for the work that was done, the network they were working with. The actions taken with companies that they shouldn't have. But I get there's an inside man also that will be indicted and put in defense mode. So can we
I was going to follow up with a question too, Jenny, because it's one thing to indict the people that defrauded the government. What about the people that were the government officials that were supposed to have oversight of this so it didn't happen?
Right. So
We're
like your
talking billions of dollars.
Yeah. So Jared Kushner and Mike Pence, like, who's the inside man? Will Jared Kushner get caught up in this?
he was disgusting throughout. This is the same person that got all the supplies and just said, "Okay, sit on them. Don't pass them out to the places they need to go."
Don't send them to any Democratic governors because we want their people to die.
How was he not in jail after that?
What, for the Saudi money?
For the sitting on all the supplies, like don't send them to the blue states.
Yeah. No, seriously, I think that there is a committee or somewhere in the House that's looking into it was like the COVID response or whatever, because that right there is criminal negligence. You let people die for political gain. When it's an airborne pandemic, so it's not like it's transmitted from me touching you. It's passed through the air, so it's not like it's going to be contained in one state. Like you can build a wall around California and New Jersey and every other freaking blue state and be like, okay, it's only going to be over there. Let's kill them all off, you know?
I get there's a man. Oh, go ahead.
Like Don is saying, this is not the state stuff. This is ours. Remember when he said that? When the states were fighting for PPE and he's like, this doesn't belong to the states. This is ours. Bitch.
Who is ours?
Yeah.
There is no state called United States. So it's not like it's in one place. No, this belongs to everybody.
Yeah.
I do get a man singled out here, though, with the King of Wands in the Four Swords. I'm not exactly sure who, but they were in a position of some sort with the Six of Wands and the Justice. And there was a lot of commotion and fighting around them, a lot of politics at play as well. So, yeah, there will be a man singled out of this. And, of course, that then splinters and branches off because you know how those things work.
I get the same thing. I get that there's something that changes for a man and he suffers and he carries the burden and the guilt. So, and my question was, will Jared Kushner get caught up in all this? Yeah, he suffers.
Yeah, I get it too. Like he's right at the center of it. He's going to get a lot of attention on this because of his bullying deals that he did, and the movement of the goods. So, yeah, he's going to get something tangible from the courts. Making people suffer instead of healing. He's going to be put in defense mode. I do get, the courts going after him. He is the inside man that had all the options to look at. And I get, he's going away. I get a big yes, he gets an indictment. Yeah.
And another thing about Jared, I saw something on the internet the other day that Elizabeth Warren is now calling for an investigation into him about how he got that $2 billion for Saudi Arabia for a company he doesn't even have.
Well, that was another question I had. Why did Saudi Arabia give him $2 billion as a new investor? What was their motive? The prince was told not to give money to Jared. He gives him $2 billion. Why?
Knowledge of a death and paying for classified information.
Okay, my tower flew out. I was wondering why.
Coffin book and fish. Knowledge of a death and paying for classified information, paying for a transaction for classification. And because this is closed off, this means endings and losses, deaths and illness. So I'm wondering if it's also in regards to access. Because remember, Jared Kushner kept getting declined for high-level security. He couldn't even get a freaking classified, low-level secret security. He couldn't pass his secret security, but it's like, or secret clearance. So, but there's this, and I can't change this and make it into something else. So that's what I get.
I get the same thing. I get working together on weapons, and all their conversations and deals, like paying for weapons and doing all this corruption in secret there. So it's hush money in a way, like Victory will give him a bunch of money It's hush money. But they'd worked out a deal while he was in the White House. So he knew before he left he was going to get it.
And Mnuchin got money from him too, didn't he?
He got $1 billion. He got less than Kushner, which is amazing because Mnuchin at least has a record of being a investment guy.
What did you get, Johnny?
Oh, Lord have mercy. Human beings really suck, I swear.
Some of
You know,
them,
let's not feed kids or cure cancer with $2 billion. Let's give it to this anyway. Queen of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles. There is work that he was doing while he was there within the administration. There's also the blocking of something. I don't know if America or the United States were supposed to put some sort of what?
It's probably when he blocked Qatar because he was trying to get money out of Qatar, and Qatar said no. And then he retaliated against Qatar until he got the money from Saudi Arabia. That's the block that I remember.
There's a blockage. There's a movement of something. This is also possible, not military, but it's intimidation with the Two of Swords and the Knight of Wands. The Three of Swords, there is a separation of large amounts of money as well, but it's also from a institution that would track such a thing with the Hangman here. So there is something that was moving under the radar because he likes back channels and all of that. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of corruption basically that they got away with during those 4 years that he helped them do. A lot.
And he screwed up so much stuff. Just the COVID response. He screwed it 800 million ways to Sunday, and he's over there thinking he did the best job ever. Nobody could have handled it better than him. It's like you left with almost 1 million people dead on your watch, and you think that's a good job?
He was the quiet one. Like he rarely spoke on TV or anything. Those are the ones you got to watch because they're doing stuff behind the scenes. So Representative Jamie Raskin said that the January 6th committee has evidence of crimes not yet alleged, meaning crimes we don't know about yet, that we haven't even guessed at, sort of. So
he stole
what crimes is he talking about with the January 6th committee? Crimes that are yet to be alleged.
For who?
For the January 6th committee. So it's to do with the insurrection. There are crimes that we don't know about yet. What are they? That they know. I love Jamie Raskin. I got to get his new book.
So they're basically saying there is stuff that we see coming down the pike that hasn't even been introduced into this situation yet.
Right, that we haven't heard about, like on the news. Is kind of.
I mean, you got assault and sedition, and what else is there?
We know that there were terrorist organizations involved. There was communication with people in the White House. We know there was a meeting over at the hotel also helping with it. We know that there's money being paid to transfer people in and out. We know there were weapons. What else?
I mean, what else?
What else is there?
Double parking? What else is there? I mean, you got the lie, cheat, and steal and kill in there already.
We know there were burner phones. We know so much in plain sight. Things stolen out of the Capitol.
Speaking of plain sight, there's a sign.
Illumination on something.
Okay.
Uh-oh, my full card fell out, so it may have something to do with Trump. We know about the fake electors. We know about calling all the states, trying to get them to reverse stuff, and especially Georgia. What do we not know about?
There's some sort of witness tampering or intimidation, like mob style. You don't say nothing if you want to keep your kneecaps type of thing. There's also something to do with the bombs or some sort of explosives that were placed or something like that too. There's more info on that, and there's possible, this was not isolated. It was part of that whole thing. 7 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles. There's also a lot. It's not, there's some sort of robbery of something very expensive too. So there's something about robberies that took place or was supposed to be going on at the same time where attention was diverted or something of that nature that somehow is also connected. There's supposed to be the destruction or the demolition or the tearing down of something. So this is not, I don't know, there's some sort of financial play. It's not a bank though. It's something that holds expensive things that was supposed to be destroyed, like a museum or something. I don't know if, or maybe the Capitol, since it has a lot of historic things in it, maybe those things were supposed to be destroyed. There's some sort of destruction that was supposed to be happening there too. But again, I keep drawing back to, there are some people who know this who aren't involved, who were intimidated by the people who were involved. There is also a plot for 2 women at the top who were supposed to be assaulted or worse type thing as well. Nancy Pelosi, of course, being one, but there's 2 women here that were supposed to be targeted. There's also something else to go with the envoys. So some sort of transportation thing too. Something also is moving across the water or across, not necessarily from overseas, just could be across bridges, that type of thing. But it's in the water. So if it's like a canal or some sort of bay or whatever the case may be, there is something in there that was also supposed to be a part of this. I can't exactly see what, but whatever it was supposed to cause harm to. That's what I get.
Mm-hmm.
What you getting?
I'm with Johnny on the, I pulled a double line of 5. The first top row across is tree, stars, cross, whip, and dog. And then the second column below it is sun, man, fish, scythe, and snake. I'm with Johnny on the intimidation because it goes tree, stars, cross, whip, and dog. Intimidation, punishment, hurting somebody, criticizing somebody. Whip sits over the scythe, weapons. Scythe, knights over to the stars, bombs. And there's something here with people in the Freedom Caucus, sun, man, fish. That can be read as a very successful businessman and the success of many men that have freedom and abundance. Freedom Caucus. There's something here also about quite possible like internet hacking of some sort, stars and scythe. The attack, it so I'm sorry I'm rushing through this. If I'm interpreting this correctly from what I see just at a quick glance, I would say that perhaps they're members of the Freedom Caucus. If I look at the inserts, the pip cards, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 men and 2 that are younger and 1 woman. Okay, that I can see here just looking at the pips. But that I would not be surprised if those people later on, the charges that have not been alleged or whatever, may be targeted to members of the Freedom Caucus. If I'm looking at sun, man, fish, a successful man that is independent, that is free, and it's many men, many. So. Yeah. members of the Freedom Caucus, I would think. And there's something here weird too with Stars and Scythe that like not just widespread danger and cutting off access to going in different directions, but maps that target, because maps provide guidance. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Targeted guidance. Do you see what I'm saying? And
Yes, that's what. Yes.
am I making sense?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's just in that little. I'll take a picture and we'll go over it, like, because I don't want to take any more time. But yeah,
That was good. I definitely get something about bombs also, and someone well known that was targeted that they were trying to isolate. So definitely somebody that, whether that was Pence or Pelosi or somebody, there's something on one of them that they were trying to isolate. I definitely get something about the money, and like there's like big money involved in this, and there's going to be illumination on that. I'm not sure what that is, but like maybe corporations, or maybe that's the Freedom Caucus or something.
Freedom Caucus, but also Jenny Thomas lobbies for a bunch of these whackhead.
You got Jenny Thomas and Roger Stone involved. They're both lobbyists. How many other lobbyists are involved?
Yeah.
There's something else about how they were going to hold strength when they returned. So like returning in to the capitals. What I'm getting, something about holding strength with the electors, something like that we don't know yet. And then I get there's a connection globally to Betray. So there's a international something that's going to come on, and I get also a manipulation of Secret Service, like secret security. So Secret Service. So there's something about Secret Service that we don't know about yet.
That's crazy. And I'm just thinking back to my read. The last two cards up and down was dog and snake. Loyalties betrayed. People that you think you can trust are not
trustworthy.
That you can trust. They're not trustworthy. Like that's a lot. And you got to think too, they just announced not too long ago, the RNC announced that they will no longer be holding CPAC here in the United States. They're going to Hungary and letting the dictator over there be the keynote speaker. But hey, America first. Let's just go over to a different country and let the dictator.
You're being invaded from within, basically.
Yeah.
So the RNC pulled out of presidential debates. Imagine that. They have no platform and they don't want to debate. So why are they pulling out of presidential debates? They say they're too partisan or something, which is bullcrap.
If that's the issue, then put it back to the way it was before Bush and let it go back to the Women's League to monitor it. How it used to be before Bush came in and dismantled it and made it this whole televised multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah,
get real.
They've had people from every news station, including Fox News, ask questions. So how could it be biased?
Just put it back to the Women's League of Voters. Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's see.
Don't like women. They don't want us voting. They're coming for our reproductive rights. Next thing they'll come for our, our overall rights as citizens. So.
It's like they can't answer questions, I think, because they have no platform other than to undermine women and your average Joe Schmo and
gays,
more money for
LGBTQ, so that we can let's find people in the population to other. Point the finger at them. That's fascism 101. If the Democrats were smart, what they would do is, okay, you don't want to debate. Come on up, libertarians, come on up and split the party that way. If they were smart, they would do that.
But you have to hold the debate anyway and just say, well, they didn't show up. So forth and so forth. But why? They want to restrict the chaos because something doesn't go their way. With the Eight of Swords, the tower is uncontrollable when it happens. So they're trying to restrict something. They're trying to control something. They're trying to secure votes as well. Seven of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. Also, trying to keep people in the dark, trying to keep people blind. Ace of Cups and the Two of Swords. The less of you see of me, the less you know of me. Just vote for me because I'm not them. And that's. I will say this too. That's a lot of especially corporate established Democrats' problems. Is you're going to vote for me because I'm not them. You can't keep doing that. That is not a strategy, but that is kind of what they're trying to do. But
I'm telling you, get rid of that guy that's running the DNC and put me in there for a week, and I'd be like, "This is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. Call Rand Paul. He's a libertarian. Nobody in their right damn mind would ever vote for a libertarian, but you'll siphon voters away from the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So why did they leave the presidential debates? Because a man's win is blocked. I don't know who this man is. I don't know if this is in reference to Trump, that Trump is unable to win.
Yeah.
Or whoever else they want as a candidate, they can't win. Their win is blocked.
I get that too. Like, it's like they're going through a transition. Their challenge is to have strength. So trying to have power, during the chaos, the Republican Party is getting quite emotional here. And so they're looking at their options for the White House and feeling very burdened. Like, we got crap. We got zero for the White House. And trying to figure out, they feel all left out, and they're put in defense mode. They're not accepting what's offered. So they don't like their options.
But why discuss policy? Because we don't have any policy stand other than get rid of corporate tax cuts completely. If they could, they would make it zero.
Well, even Kevin McCarthy came out and said that he was worried about the extremist Republicans taking over the House. It's like, really? And yet you've done nothing to stop them.
And then he's sitting there promising to put Marjorie Taylor Greene and the other crazies back on committees. But
they're the extremists. Who is he talking about then? Because if they're not the extremists, who are you talking about?
He's worried that there's going to be more extremists like Paul Gosar and Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and not Hot Wheels Cawthorn.
Those people he acts just like them.
He lets them.
A lot of the moderates have dropped out of running, so they already have like a problem where a lot of the moderate Republicans are just like, I'm done with this, and
they're losing their party. Okay, this is hypothetical. Is there a possibility sometime in the future or near future, however you want to narrow it down, that Mitch McConnell will also lose his grip as well?
Mitch McConnell just endorsed that crazy mother effer in Georgia.
So he's conforming, possible to the extremists.
And he said that he would vote for Trump if he was or support Trump if he was the nominee. So he's all about power and money.
He knows where his bread is buttered.
Yeah. Remember, we read on, does Mitch have any moral line? No. We got a note.
No. A dirty baby's diaper has more of a moral line than Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, that's true.
I tell you, Becca, that's who's going to challenge you for the job of Satan is Mitch McConnell.
Satan's apprentice. In his triple throat, I will shake him.
So, Becca, this is a Becca question. The Air Force is helping the LGBTQ community, their personnel, by expanding human rights. So they're offering medical and legal help, including relocation. So we want to know
that are stationed in states that are passing these anti-LGBTQ laws, because just because you say you're a service member and you're married and you live in, say you don't even live in government housing, say you live out in town and you have children that are LGBTQ or transgender or whatever, if your family is being targeted under those states because those states have passed these bigoted laws, the United States Air Force has come out and said that we will help you legally with mental health services and everything. And if need be, we will relocate you. I know off the top of my head, Florida, I think, has 21. And I don't know about Texas. I don't know about Georgia because I only, I'm in the Navy or work for the Navy. So it's like we don't really have boats and stuff in inland. We have air wings, but that's not what I do. But I know that Florida has 21 bases, and I can count 6 off the top of my head that are strictly Air Force in Florida. I don't even know how many are in Texas. I don't know how many are in Georgia, how many are in Oklahoma. That's also writing these draconian laws. So the Air Force in these red states is letting its service members know, including their families, for their dependents, we got your back. So I guess the question is, I don't anticipate that they would be like, okay, we're going to shut down the base. That's because at the end of the day, it comes down to military readiness. So if you need to be there for strategic purposes, you need to be there for strategic purposes. But that doesn't mean that you can just not shut down the base, but move those operations somewhere else. And I think we all know that anywhere where there is a military base, it brings a lot of economic power into the surrounding areas.
That's right.
Because you have a lot of active duty military, their family members, and civilians that are working on base as well. So it's a huge economic boom. So it's like, are you playing with fire right now by poking the eye? Which it's so far it hasn't come down from the Pentagon. From my understanding, it came down from the United States Air Force. So I don't know if other branches would follow suit. For the Navy, I think it would come from SECNAV, the Secretary of the Navy. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, because the out of all the branches, the Air Force is the tippity top. Do you see what I'm saying? They take care of their people. They have the largest budget. They have the nicest barracks, the nicest facilities, it's like it's the nicest branch to serve in. I was a piece of crap sailor. I got to sleep on boats and do nasty shit, but it's like, will other branches take that as an example? And
will either from the Department of Defense, or will Biden sign an executive order and say we're going to do this in all of the military? Thank you, Margaret. Will other branches of the military do the same thing and offer human rights assistance?
Because that's just ridiculous. And especially when you consider that a lot of children that are at certain ages, especially going through puberty and stuff, they're already at high risk for mental health and suicide because of their gender identity. And you're going to legalize people bullying them and make it worse. You know what I mean? It's like,
it's just sick and disgusting.
It's gross.
I do get new action with, and this is my card for Army. That's my card for, actually, the King of Wands is more military, but this one is Army. There's a new action there. Biden does somehow or another, I don't know exactly how, get involved, but this is also with the King of Cups and the Nine of Cups. It's more of a gesture. So he may do a speech or something like that. I don't see like law put in place. I think he's leaving it to the individual needs of the individual branches, but something on the ground. So I'm going to say Army.
And you know what, really, just to go off topic a little bit, I remember during the first few years of Trump's presidency, and I know that the military is not perfect. I know I did plenty of time, and I still work for the military 22 years later, and it's like, it's not a perfect institution. You got your idiots running around, but the reason that they run a tight ship, it's because you got to keep all these clowns in place. And it made my stomach roll when Trump was first in office, and I think it was the Air Force, or was it the Navy, one of the Navy schools for officers, were the captain had to get up there and chew their asses because they're all of the racial slurs that they were targeting other service members. And he's like, if you can't deal with this, then get out, and it's like, he corrupted every institution top down. And the biggest thing in the military is you need to have the morale and you need to have that brotherhood.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you don't get the idiots, you do, but it's like you're poisoning the well with
That's
that.
right. You don't divide the people within the military, and make it divisive. It's I get a yes. I get there'll be more funding put to this to make sure that they're secure, working together. So, if that's the three branches maybe of the military, I get a big yes coming from the government. So, especially wanting to make sure that the children are safe. I mean, how can you be a soldier if you're worried about your child? How can you do your job if you're worried about your child? So, keeping the children safe, and I get climbing to strength and climbing to higher ground. I get a big yes.
I get that the knowledge is going to have to come down to the people at the top to make the decisions. Book, man, and scythe. There's a man here that has knowledge that he's going to have to make the decision. It's going to be a sharp, precise, cutting decision.
Because a lot more goes into it than just your feelings. Just like if all the fit hit the shan, then where are you and where are we in relation? So
and you can't expect to have readiness when you have service members that are worried about their families at home and how their kid is being attacked at school because you are unfortunately stationed in a state where bigotry is now promoted. It's promoted to be a bigot, so who would want that? Even if you're not in the military, even if you're just a regular citizen, why would you want that burden on your shoulders? So whatever.
It's just insane.
Well, kudos to the Air Force, though.
I know, and that's why I'm saying every other department should follow suit. I was worried about the Marine Corps because they're kind of jarheads over there, but I was like, well, it falls under USN, the Department of the Navy, because it's not Department of the Marine Corps, it falls under the Navy. So it's like, and then the Navy had this whole issue years ago too with like the don't ask, don't tell under Bush, and it's like, so what if you're on a freaking submarine? Have you been on a submarine? There's nowhere for you to go shag anybody if you wanted to.
How about button your head against something?
I literally turn, you're right here. I literally turn, you're right here.
There was I remember when the Republicans were trying to push that whole homophobia into our military that we don't need to worry about. Were you given a damn in Vietnam and World War II? Because I guarantee you gays existed back then too. So
you watch my back, I watch yours. That's what it's going to boil down to.
Yeah, or we both don't die.
They just gave the women through the veterans hospitals more services for childbirth, for giving birth, and for women's reproductive issues and
reproductive rights. Yeah.
So they're getting on board with okay, well,
and how's that going to work too? Because if say that you're Air Force and you're stationed in Florida and you have an unwanted pregnancy, you don't have to go out in town to get an abortion. And if you do, because I doubt that the Air Force would not have the facilities for that. You know what I mean? It's the Air Force. They have it, and they send you out in town and it's illegal, then that becomes a problem between the federal government because that person is operating under federal law because you're a service member versus state law. So that's going to be, or does now the military have to fly you out somewhere for you to get one? You know what I mean? It's like,
well, that's true because there are military bases in Texas and places that have passed all these crazy laws. Let's ask that. Is there going to be some legal problems between states and federal because of military bases doing
because of the states passing draconian laws,
because they can't control what happens on a military base.
No, they can't. And I was back when I was stationed where I was stationed, we had a very small hospital, but they did perform abortions there. We didn't have to go out into town, so
And they've got more women in the military. Plus, they've got a lot of married people where they've got a spouse or a wife or
what if it's something wrong with the pregnancy and it puts the woman's life in danger, and you have a choice to either abort or your wife and the baby die?
Mm-hmm.
Then what? You know?
I've known several people in my lifetime that have developed cancer while pregnant and had to make a decision to terminate the pregnancy to undergo chemo.
Yeah. And I saw it in the chat. Yes, I do understand that because I'm former military as well. So long as you're on the base, you are under federal law on that base. But what if there's a base that is not equipped? You know?
So they have to send them to an outside.
They have to send them outside. Because even when I was, where I was stationed at, I had gotten something on pretonsillar abscess. They couldn't treat me on base. I had to be sent out into town to a specialist.
But it was covered by the.
But it was. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So situations like that where perhaps the base is not large enough to have that sort of a facility. So will it cause problems between state and federal governments?
Because of military bases.
And then, even if they send you to a different location, that's still money that needs to be paid. Like for instance, if the facility, like let's say you're an unfortunate person that's stationed somewhere like El Centro, but it's not in California, it's somewhere like in Oklahoma where you're out in the middle of nowhere and the closest gas station is 80 miles away, and there is no hospital on base, so they're going to fly you from there to some other military base in another state for a procedure. Like,
I get ultimately no. There's no real problem. The hermit things are restricted or isolated to where this, in a nutshell, a none of your business type thing. So what we do here, we do here. And if I have to get a certain service outside of here, it's still involving us here. You can, at the most, you can get the people with the cry and the clamor with trying to save face or save image, that type of thing. But that exercise is one of futility. King of Swords and the Judgment, no. This is pretty much in place to where we are isolated and restricted, so you can't do nothing to us. The most you can do is make a fuss. That's possibly about it.
I get that they're separated. However, they tried to finagle this for the election results. I get letter, which would be your ballots, ship, transition and transfer, crossroads, the choices and options. So people are going to transfer out. They will transfer out. They will go somewhere else, but it will be something that gets brought up at the election for ballots, if that makes sense. Because, you're in this state, you can sue that woman over there for having an abortion. So what if Rosie on Air Force Base, wherever the hell, got an abortion, even though she's on federal land, so it doesn't apply there? And I want money, so do I get the right to sue her too? Like stuff like that. Like it's almost like they're going to try to twist it and turn it to drive out more people to vote for them, if that makes sense. But ultimately, no, because it's separate.
Yeah, I get there might be an image issue for the pregnant women that they want to kind of keep it quiet, that they're able to secure this, on the bases. But their options are getting burdened if they have to go out and pay somebody else to do it, because there's nobody to go out to, because they're shutting down everything. So they are committed to offering this still, though. I do get it brings some change to all this corruption that's going on. I get Death Card and the Wheel of Fortune. Like something's going to change over all of this anyway. So there'll be an abandonment of some of these laws, I think, down the road. But
just telling you, make me Satan for a week, and I mandatory vasectomies at 13. At 13, snip snip.
Because if you can be all in my body, I can be all in yours.
Exactly. You know, we are the party of small government, except when it comes to your body, who you can have sex with, who you can be married to, what you can say, what your religious choices are. I mean, and the list goes, but we're the party of small government, you know?
So, all the money and yachts and houses and everything that are getting confiscated of the Russian oligarchs, will any of that money be used to help rebuild Ukraine?
I don't know why I get a very almost it's I get a kick out of all these people's stuff getting seized and taken away. It's I don't know why. It's like, you know, Robin Hood almost. It's
Yeah.
just
I'm loving it because they aren't giving anything to the people in Russia. So, yeah, take it all.
they're bleeding the people of Russia, and the whole world is taking all your stuff.
And they're like, we don't have anything to do with Putin. They're all upset. You know, you're affecting my personal rights. It's like, you know, why don't you go back and live in Russia instead of that big castle you're living in over in England? You know, just
I mean,
go on
I
back
know
because
you
we're
didn't.
taking your house.
I know you shouldn't relish in someone's discomfort, but I am, because it's like you sit on all this wealth. You do not need more than one boat. If these people like the Betsy DeVos's got 10 yachts and all these, and the size of these things, they're whales, for goodness sake. And they're just getting snatched from you over here. Take your plane here, take your boat here, take your villa there. I find it funny. I don't know why I do. I'm just a horrible
I think it's hilarious. I think they should be filming that like reality TV show when the repo man.
I think so too. Lifestyles of the rich and famous, just in reverse or something.
Repo. Repossession.
I love how they try to make the connections because they got them all under LLCs and lovers' names and every mistress's names and everything else. And I love how they're like trying to track down the paperwork. It's like, okay, we got it, and then they go after the yacht. You know, like we know this is so and so's.
But wouldn't that be a great show, like the repo of the oligarchs? Because didn't they used to have that like on Bravo TV or whatever, like the repo shows where they
had
would...
a repo show. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in about 2 more years, we'll see a reality TV show, real mistresses of the oligarchs, Moscow edition.
Oh my goodness. Well,
What?
There's a the 10 of Wands shows a person in their boat sinking. And they're in the water. Very Titanic at that. There's an American flag on it and everything. 4 of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles. They're sitting on the money as of right now. And sitting on the possession, sitting on whatever. They're sitting on it. I do get the 4 of Wands, though. And there is 4 people of different backgrounds and different countries and things here. So this, like, there's going to be a community to help rebuild and help build up thing, which, if this is not hypothetical, is a good sign for Ukraine's outcome in this whole thing, which means they will survive, they will persist. 2 of Swords are the lovers and the Ace of Wands. There is back and forth as far as, because this is not a yes. This is kind of, was kind of what I get. Like, some money will be given, a lot of aid will be given. So it's not like nobody's going to help them, period. I'm just specifically asking about the oligarch stuff. Like, will their stuff be used? And kind of, and some not, type of thing.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit too, like, it's kind of like how we're donating weapons and stuff to help them. Part of the money will go to that work, but it, you know, to help with all the losses and thievery and everything. But not until this is over. You know, of course they can't send anything in, but I get there'll be some charity, a little bit of charity, and they secure a lot. I get, so there'll be some money going that way.
I get yes, but not anytime soon. Perhaps to help for the deaths, because it's coffin. The deaths and losses which they're not just the to buried loved ones, but I mean, they've completely decimated parts of the Ukraine, so yeah, but not anytime.
Mhm. It's kind of like the Afghanistan money. Like some of it is being used for the 9/11 victims, and then the
Yeah,
rest is foreign aid. So it's
yeah,
like the Ukraine is getting aid. It's just maybe not from the oligarch directly, type thing.
yeah. And even with the aid, dude, even if the family does get financial aid later on down the road, you can't bring back your family members.
Hmm.
You know,
I was watching an interview with one guy that's written a lot about Putin, and I found it really interesting. He was talking about that he thinks ultimately why Putin is doing this is because he's afraid for his own life, because he's watched other dictators fall, where the countries have taken him out
Right.
when they have been in for a while, and that his polls go up every time he attacks, like when he went into Crimea and when he went into Chechnya and stuff, his poll numbers go up. So it's like he thinks he's afraid of his own people, that they'll take him out, and afraid for his own life. So my question, I guess, is why is because the other thing they've tossed around is he wants to reunite all of the Russian countries and be known as like a Ivan the Terrible or Peter the Great or whatever. He wants to leave a legacy. So what is it? What's driving Putin? What's his motivation?
what's driving him in the invasion of Ukraine?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What's his motivation for? Is he afraid for his own life? If Freda saw that interview, it was interesting. I think it was on CNN.com. Storage wars with the yachts. That'd be a great show.
I would like to see all their stuff go up for auction.
That was brilliant. Put that on 24/7 cable television too.
I'd watch that. I'd buy a TV just to watch that. I don't know why I get such perverted joy for watching them take all their stuff.
Because they're a bunch of jerks who by the means of their wealth was on the backs and the blood of everybody else.
That's probably why though, because it just feels like you're anyway. But because they literally got blood out of a stone, and now it's all been taken from them. I just feel like karma didn't forget is all. Anyway,
I'm gonna have to go to because she's late on all sorts of stuff.
Well, it's a mixed bag. Like, yes, there's some paranoia because I got the Fool and the Ten of Swords. So, yes, there is some paranoia that he would be stabbed in the back, betrayed, that type of thing. Two of Swords, Two of Pentacles. Also, there is waiting for some sort of result to happen because he's out of balance. So, I think he's trying to do the unification thing as well, the Judgment and the Chariot. But it started with the paranoia, the backstabbing, betrayal. But it didn't end there. He is trying to do some sort of unification thing, but it almost feels to me like he was pressured to do this, or he feels pressured to do the unification, because if you don't, then you have failed. And if you have failed, we don't need you. And if we don't need you, there you go.
Interesting. I get Tower, Scythe, 3 Clouds, and Lilies. Why did he do it? The empire was in danger. The growth was uncertain. He was doing it for not peace, but to put it up back to its glory. Do you see what I'm saying? Not like Mother Russia, this because this is a card of virtue, but it also is that card of especially when it mirrors tree, the government family tree, the what's the word I'm looking for, Johnny?
The government
It's
branches
like the lineage and the heritage of the company.
old
Yeah.
how it was in the old. Do you
Mhm.
see what I'm saying? Because it's tower, tree, and then lilies. So the history and the growth of the empire. But if I read it across, the empire was being cut. Do you see what I'm saying? And growth of that empire was uncertain.
Because you can't really, restore it back to its former luster and glory days because it's still a gigantic piece of land with the Italy-sized economy. So
Uh-huh.
where's your glory?
Yeah, and if they can't get the economy going in Russia, which now they can't because it's gone to hell in a handbasket, the only way is to try to get more countries and build up a bigger economy.
But even then, because he got those because he got those countries by invading them, nobody would still trade with him. So he's still shooting himself in the foot.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, like, if they had taken just a little of the money, because the estimate is well over $1 trillion that they have stolen from the people of Russia through the economy, through all the oligarchs and stuff. If they had taken just a little of that and fed it back into the economy and helped their people,
Which is why I
probably
like
could have
saying
stayed there forever.
Yes.
Yeah, he could have stayed forever. But yeah, I did. He was looking to his future a little bit and heard conversations, like felt like things were being talked about in his work there, and feeling like he might come to completion. In other words, that they might try to do some sort of sneaky attack. So I get a yes on that. That he felt like they might try to get him to go away, but I also get that bringing together what was broken up. So it's a little of both. It's kind of a worried about the job, worried about.
I'm wondering if he's lost his mind because Putin is not an idiot. He was KGB. But I guess after so many years of being a paranoid freaking dictator, you just start to lose your mind, especially when you surround yourself with self-interested sycophants too.
Well,
And spies do, have to have a very heightened paranoia because you don't know who's around you because you are a person that they don't know who's around them. So
I'm sure Putin has a tester for his food.
Yeah. The other thing is they are defaulting on loans, Russian loans. So it's going to screw up their ability in an international market to get loans in the future, even after all this is over. That's going to screw up their economy because they won't be able to get loans.
Yeah.
So all those oligarchs are.
I hope your yacht was fun while you had it because the reaper is coming.
It's mine now, sucker.
Put it on the auction channel.
That's what they should do. They should get like a bunch of inner city kids and let them sail around on the.
So what will ultimately make Putin withdraw from Ukraine? What will ultimately get him to end this? Ay, ay.
So he's a dictator, and what he says goes, apparently. But there's some sort of reining in here with the government and the Ace of Swords. the Hermit and the Knight of Pentacles, like some sort of something dependable would have to be cut off, like his access to the military, his access to money. They would have to rein him in because of the regrets over the attack. So he would have to be reined in because he has crippled his country, basically. I was not even, again, I'm not really a politic person, believe it or not. Like, I don't watch it all the time. I don't read it all the time and all that. And I did not know that the entire world can get together and say your money's worth nothing. And like that blew my mind when they zeroed out their currency. I'm like, I didn't even know such a thing was.
Yeah, I don't understand enough about finances like that to understand stock markets and currencies and all that crap.
That blew my mind. Like it lit and it all
Like
leaked out. Like, that blew my mind.
But
It's like the power of the collective.
But here's what's messed up, though. The people in his country will suffer 1,000,000 times more before he does.
Yeah.
So while these people are at the store not being able to purchase food. There's no food on the shelves because you can't afford import-export anymore. It's winter. Nothing's growing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't heat your house because you ain't got the money to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, he's still over there in the castle eating caviar and whatever the F, it's going to be a while before he feels it. While everybody else is, look at North Korea. It's the same thing over there.
Yeah.
Did you see, like, in the grocery stores, there are people, like, you know how you have your price stickers, like, okay, this bottle is $9.99 for this cooking oil or whatever, like the price stickers. People are going in there and it looks like a normal price sticker, like with a barcode, but when you read the verbiage on it, and it's all in Russian, so I had to see the translated version. It's all things like they're killing our soldiers in Ukraine, and
really?
there are no Nazis in Ukraine, and it's all anti-war stuff in the store. So they're trying to secretly get it out in the grocery stores by going around changing out price stickers
outside of Russian propaganda state television.
Yep.
Because he did his little Kanye rally and was like, everybody else is the bad guy.
I saw, what I saw? I saw this video on YouTube from a local news station. I don't even remember where, but it was like in the Chicago area. It was in a big city. And they were talking to Russian immigrants that have been here for years. And my head exploded. There were some that were like, no, Putin is a dictator. What he's doing is wrong. Da, 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 da. And then they interviewed this one person that looks like he just sits there and watches the equivalent of Fox News, because as a Russian man with a heavy, thick Russian accent, older man, was saying that he's liberating the people of the Ukraine from the Nazis. I'm like, the F? Like, you are in America and you still believe that propaganda. Are you watching Fox News? Like,
thank you, Linda.
It was crazy. And that was here in the
crazy,
US.
the propaganda and stuff. And, it's funny because we all got letters from YouTube, like they're cracking down on that propaganda, even on YouTube, trying to stop it. What'll get him to go away? Patience. All my death cards.
Good Lord.
Putin, exit stage left. So what'll
dagger
make
in
him
the
go
dark.
away? Dagger in the dark.
I get Scythe Woman book. Speaking of Dagger in the Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Scythe Woman book. So I'm gonna just leave it there.
Somebody gonna take him out.
Come on, Catwoman.
Let's see. Oh, man,
That's
we have so
usually
many
how it works,
questions.
though.
I've got so many questions. We haven't gotten to.
That's because I talk too much. I'm sorry.
Let's look at this. Dianne Feinstein, will she leave before her term ends in 2024?
I'm going to sit this one out because I'm very biased towards that woman.
Okay.
Very biased.
Will she leave? They're claiming she's having some mental issues. Will she leave before her term is up in 2024?
I'm just saying, if there's a lady cook anywhere around Putin, you might want to, drop a little something in his food. That looks
that one Russian oligarch they caught in Ukraine, like he was a Russian sympathizer. That I think they said that he had like 40 something houses or something, and just crazy numbers, crazy.
Mm-mm-mm.
Well, there's your mental issue, Nine of Swords. There's her job, the Hierophant. Then there's the Chariot. Now, the Chariot is not necessarily yes and no. There is movement, there is move on, but she may slow it or like drag her feet type of thing. Before 2024, I'll just crystal ball it and say yes. That's what I'll say.
I would hope so. Because I've been trying to get rid of that worthless woman for years. And she's a Democrat, mind you. She's just worthless.
She's
Well, and you know, her husband died last year. Grief can cause you, to.
But she was like that.
Alone for
Her
your-
husband passed away. She was like that in a hearing with what's his face, Lindsey Graham. Under I agree with the senator of North. It's like, what are you doing? Did you not hear what he said? You know, and she's like, I agree, and I'm so glad that we can be so civilized. No.
I'm not sure they're going to get her to go, but if she doesn't, she'll get voted out, because I do see like forcing to retire and mentally unclear and stuff.
CC Ryder, Feinstein is too susceptible to GOP manipulation. She's worthless. And
She is GOP.
Huh?
She is GOP.
She is. She is. Basically, she's like the equivalent of a mansion or a cinema here in California. Can't get rid of her, though. She's like herpes. You know?
Okay, so let's see. For a last question, Florida is rejecting 41% of their math textbooks because critical race theory.
Yes. 2 + 2 equals you're going to be black.
And 71% of their textbooks for kindergarten through 5th grade are being banned. So
first they came out after critical race theory. First they came out after the history books because they didn't like schools teaching about the Civil War as if it didn't happen. But now we're coming after your math books.
Your math, because it's teaching
You're
critical
coming
race
after
theory.
math books, you guys. You're coming after the math books now.
Do they just want a bunch of idiots in their state? Like, where will this get stopped? Like,
And I was telling, for those in the chat, I was telling Jenny that I saw on YouTube News and stuff that they're also now starting to target public libraries as well in these states. Public libraries. So history books that has content that we don't like, banned. Math books, banned. Books for, what is it, kindergarten through 5th grade, you said?
yeah.
Banned. Public libraries, we're coming after you next because we're going to ban you too.
But they're saying there's a rise in banned book clubs. Thank you, Brandon.
Yep.
So there's, go buy your banned books at Barnes and Noble or whatever bookstore.
Everybody in this country should get a copy of the book Fahrenheit. You know which one I'm talking about? It was a dystopian.
Fahrenheit.
411, was it 411? No, it was just Fahrenheit. The book about where the guy was he was like a foot soldier, and he was in charge of going to all the schools and libraries and burning books, finding all the books and burning them. It was the work of fiction and satire. It was not meant.
51. Thank you, Espy.
Yeah,
I
Fahrenheit.
didn't think of what the number was.
It was not meant to be a manual. Like The Handmaid's Tale was not meant to be a manual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which reminds me of that book I just read, Tender is the Flesh. I'm like, oh my God, is this the preview of the year 2030? Because if it is, we're screwed.
Oh my God. Okay, remind me when we finish here. There's a book that you read that you told me about that is a true story, but remind me and I'll tell you.
Okay.
It's like, don't read books. And then you got that guy. What was that guy's name? We didn't get to him tonight. I wanted to ask about the Tennessee State Senator, Frank Nicely. he's like, you homeless people need to be like Hitler. You know, he was homeless for a while and pulled himself up, like, you know, trying to
Homeless
make it
people
illegal to camp.
Go be like Hitler.
Go be like Hitler. That's your role models, homeless people. Go buy Mein Kampf.
But hey, if you're banning books and refusing to teach math.
But Mein Kampf, that's okay. Go read that.
Yeah.
Improve yourself.
So what was the question? What are they going to ban next? What is the GOP going to ban next?
Yeah, let's look at that. Let's look at it that way. What will they ban next?
What are they going to ban next?
Johnny, I think you already pulled on the what's going to come from this. What'd you get?
No, I didn't pull.
Oh.
What is the GOP going to ban next?
Okay.
Well, there's books right there. Okay, so it's going to be a book. What are they going to ban next? Okay, it's going to be a book. A book about what? A book about what? A book about a fox. What are they going to
all of the animal books.
What are they going to ban next? A book about a foxy woman. Okay. So if it's a children's book, I don't know if there's any stories about a fox that's a woman. It could be books that are for intelligent women, or are books that manipulate for women, books that work for women, female authors, books by female authors that work on books. But I don't know if there's a specific books about foxes. So I don't know if this would be like Orwell's Animal Farm or maybe satire. What was the name of that? Oh God, I forget. 1786, I believe it was written. And it was supposed to be satire about eating little kids. It was satirical work. I read it back in.
Somebody in the chat knows, I guarantee you. You know, wait, see.
But it was satire about eating kids. Yeah, foxy lady books about foxy ladies. So porn magazines probably going to get banned. Women's lingerie stuff probably getting banned. 50 Shades of Grey. There you go. Probably getting banned. So go get your smut books now while you can, ladies.
I don't get a ban. They're trying to insert creationism. So if you can teach, or maybe they're coming after evolution. Maybe that's what this is saying. So they're coming for your science books next, because that would be the next logical thing, because they came for literature, just fiction and history, and now math, and now science. So they're coming for your science books next.
So all we're going to teach you now is our version of Jesus.
Yep.
My problem with this is when you have a devolved society, your society then falls.
Yeah,
you cannot be. America's number one in the world when it comes to diseases. That is not a badge of honor. Like what happened to innovation and science and medicine, and
it's either creationism, because I have the Empress on the bottom here, or it's abortion. There's something they're mulling over right now that they feel like they haven't done enough damage with yet, so they're going to come back to it. And I get like just totally blasting it apart. It's got a very feminine energy, so it's either creationism or it's abortion, like trying to end abortions.
I remembered the satire book now, A Modest Proposal. It was satire written in 1798. And it was satire against, I believe if I remember correctly, it was against capitalism. And it was saying, well, F it, just eat babies. Just eat the babies. Just eat the babies. Like
Stephanie said Hansel and Gretel.
which, I mean, that's also one. Story about the same thing.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. And next week we'll be on Becca's channel, House of Lenormand. Johnny's on Friday night on Shining Hawk Healing at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. I got a lot of questions we didn't get to, so I might try to go live sometime during the week if I get a minute. Anything else?
No. In 2 weeks, we'll do our next Soul Chat.
Oh, that's right. That was good today. If y'all missed it, go and watch Johnny's Soul Chat today, Tarot Talk.
Can you guys see me and hear me?
We can hear you though.
Hear you, but can't see you.
Camera. I did something. I knocked it, and it's like it's gone. So I'm gonna have to exit and come back into the chat. But thanks, everybody.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good
Happy
night.
Easter. Go get sick on chocolate.